New this year for All Day Holiday, we introduced the Legacy Lineup, a challenge between alumni fathers and their current sons who are students here at Calvert Hall. 5 competitions, 1 winner. They're playing for the Legacy Cup. Want to thank Scott Manning and Manpack for their sponsorship, and now onto the competition. We're here at Maddox Theater today, joined by Brian Camato, class of 93, and his son Leo, class of 28. Today they're going to play a competition to name that tune. But before we get to the competition, just want to ask Brian a little bit about his career and his Emmy Awards that he's won.
So I moved to New York City after going to Towson University. I went to grad school in New York. The whole idea was to get into film scoring and stuff. So I played a lot of gigs, I played a lot of music and wrote for anybody that would have me write music. And I ended up doing music for All My Children, which was a soap opera on ABC. And I did that for about 10 years, and we did win 3 Emmys. So that's kind of what I'm known for from time to time. Yeah.
Very good. We also talked about you and Leo took a trip a few years ago where you introduced him to some classic music. Talk a little bit about that trip.
Sure. Well, we drove to Canton, Ohio to go to the NFL Hall of Fame. We did go right through Pittsburgh, which Leo wanted me to find a route that didn't have to set foot in Pittsburgh, but we did go to Pittsburgh. But on the way, we started with Led Zeppelin, album number 1, track number 1, and then we just kind of went through the whole catalog. Got to introduce them to the finer things.
There you go.
So.
And how did you feel about that trip? What was listening to Led Zeppelin like going from Baltimore to Canton?
Yeah, honestly, it was like really fun. It was like 5-hour drive, kind of a long road trip, and yeah, it was really cool.
Any favorite songs or anything from the album that sticks out, or just the whole album?
I think honestly the whole album was really good.
Whole catalog,
Yeah.
from album to album, all good.
We also talked about you're a member of the competitive marching band. Talk about that experience a little bit.
Yeah, I joined this past year, and yeah, it's been really fun. We're like going to all these different places, and we went to MetLife Stadium to compete against all the bands, and yeah, it was really cool.
Okay. Well, the academic side of stuff. Tell me a little bit about your favorite class and your favorite teacher.
My favorite class is chemistry, and my teacher in that class is Miss Leonard, so shout out to her.
She brings a little bit of energy to the classroom. Helps
Yeah,
make
for
chemistry
sure.
better.
Yeah, definitely.
Very good. And before we wrap up, I do want to go back to Brian, give him a little plug. He is working on our theme song for this year for All Day Holiday. Talk a little bit about that song.
Sure, just trying to do like an upbeat kind of rocker with a really good message about the hall. So I'm honored to do it. It's a lot of fun.
I've heard a little bit about it, and
cool.
again, it's going to help us raise money this year for All Day Holiday. So we appreciate you guys being here. And now we're going to name that tune. For the Name That Tune competition, we brought in the distinguished Mr. Rob Smith to give the clues and play the tunes.
All right, Leo, you'll be first.
All right.
Here's your clue. This song is known as a nursery rhyme, but was actually composed by one of the most famous composers of all time.
All right. I think I could probably do it in like 10 notes.
Okay?
I could probably do it in 8.
I could do it in 7, I think.
Okay, go for it.
7. Here we go.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star.
Bingo. 1 point for Leo, you guys. All right, next. Brian, this song was written in 1893 and commemorates one trip around the planet.
Maybe 6 notes?
Yeah, he's got that.
Okay.
What is it?
Happy birthday.
There it is, 1 to 1.
Right.
Next, Leo, we're back to you. Written in the 19th century, this song celebrates a battle won in Baltimore.
Could probably do it in like 8 notes.
6.
All right, name that tune.
It's the Star Spangled Banner.
Correct. Another point for
All right.
Dad. Okay, now this one is for Brian. All right.
Okay.
This song has become a tradition at Fenway Park during the 8th inning.
I think I could probably do it in 6 notes.
Yeah, name that tune.
6 notes. I think I can do 6 notes.
Sweet Caroline?
All right, Leo. This song centers around a man in prison for murder in the biggest little city in the world? I thought that was a good clue.
I'll do 10 notes, I guess.
10 notes?
Name that tune.
Okay. Here we go.
I'm not sure, honestly.
Brian?
I hear that train a coming. It's Folsom Prison Blues. Johnny
Folsom
Cash.
Prison Blues. You should know that. Yeah.
You've
Well,
heard it before.
You've heard it.
I
Everybody's
probably
heard that.
heard it, yeah.
Okay, this one is a little bit easier, perhaps. This song mentions fair and stormy weather.
I could probably do them like 10.
10?
Go for it.
All right.
Yeah.
Alma mater.
The alma mater. Very good.
Nice.
All right, and now we're to the last one. Is this you?
Sure.
Here we go. This song is a jazz standard from the Great American Songbook, made most famous by Miles Davis.
Maybe 5 notes?
Name that tune.
Oh, wow, you don't know it.
I'm thinking too hard, I think.
Oh, I thought you'd know it instantly.
I know. So did I. Give me some more notes. Tough kind of blue, isn't it? What is it?
No!
Oh, geez, I'm sorry.
Unbelievable.
Oh, my Funny Valentine. Sorry. I needed
There we
context.
go, there it
folks,
is.
Context.
A little context, there we go. Harmony helps.
As we recap the Name That Tune competition, Brian was our victor with 4 songs. Leo, you had 2, and there was one that they did not get. But Brian, what was the most difficult song you had there for Mr. Smith playing the tunes?
My Funny Valentine at the end, which is funny because I know that song in my sleep on like 3 different instruments. I needed a little context.
Okay, so
Yeah,
that was the one you didn't
worked
get.
out.
You did get 4. You had 2. You had the Alma Mater and
Twinkle Star.
Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
Yeah.
How'd you think the competition went? Was there unfair advantage to Dad over here?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, so we thank Brian and Leo for joining us today, and now on to the next competition. We're in the esports team room, home of Calvert Hall's championship-winning esports team. I'm joined by Eric Ruby, class of '97, and his son James, class of '27. So I would start with you, Eric, on a couple questions with you. When you found out that James was going to be a student here at Calvert Hall following in your footsteps, what advice did you give him?
Well, first I told him to be prepared because it's a lot more work here at Calvert Hall than it was back in middle school. I also told him reach out to the teachers if you need help because you got a phenomenal group of teachers here that work with all the guys, and but you got to reach out and advocate for yourself.
One of the teachers that we talked about earlier was Mr. Blake, who I believe both of you had for geometry.
Yes, sir.
James, give me your take on Mr. Blake.
He's a really good teacher. There was a lot of work in his class, especially since it was an honors class. But overall, it prepared me for the classes to come in years to come.
Perfect. And then we also talked about you're both members of the band. And what instrument do you play?
I play trumpet.
What did you play when you were
I
here?
also played the trumpet. My trumpet is what he's using now. It's the second time through the school for that
So
work.
30 years of trumpet, it's back at Calvert
It's
Hall
back again, yes, sir.
Perfect. Last thing I have for you is we asked your dad about the advice that he had for you when you became a student here.
Yes.
You're going to be a senior in the fall. I'm sure those 4 years have flown by, 3.5 years have flown by. What advice would you give to some underclassmen?
I'd say don't procrastinate on your work. That's a problem that I have. But just get as much done as you can, as early as you can, but be sure to pace yourself so you're not like doing too much at one time.
That's great advice for the underclassmen. Now we're going to see these guys compete in Mario Kart. You just finished up a friendly competition in Mario Kart. Eric, how'd it go?
I needed a few more seconds. I could have chased him down.
From that answer, it sounds like, James, you might have been the winner.
Yep.
What was the strategy?
So I use my items strategically, and in one section of the track that I picked, there's a stream of water that speeds you up for when you're in it. So I tried to stay in that during that section of the track.
Sounds like he did his homework on that competition. Now on to the next event. We're here at the Country Club of Maryland, home of Calvert Hall's golf team. I'm joined by Scott Manning, class of 78, and his son Brooks, a senior in the class of 2026. Scott, let's start with you. I understand you played football at Calvert Hall for a legendary coach. Tell me about that experience and how Coach Maselli influenced your life.
Yeah, Coach Maselli was a great leader. He taught us a lot about how to stay organized, how to compete. We won a championship my junior year and lost in the championship game my senior year. But I value everything I learned from him and stayed friends with him throughout my adult time as well.
We also talked about another influential teacher / coach. You didn't play for him, but you had him in the classroom, Coach Amatucci. You had him for psychology. Talk about that experience in the classroom.
Yeah, Tooch, he was a great teacher, a very intense guy, as everyone knows. I did have him as a baseball coach my sophomore year for JV baseball, but I really enjoyed his intensity and his passion for Calvert Hall and the teaching and sports programs.
Certainly, when you talk about Maselli, you talk about Tooch, passion and energy and winning are words that describe those guys, certainly. When you found out that Brooks was going to become a Cardinal, what advice did you give him coming into Calvert Hall?
Well, I just told him that he just needs to go in and be himself and compete and in the classroom and on the golf course and just have a good time, enjoy it.
Now, you've been there for 4 years now, wrapping up, getting ready to head off to college, which we'll talk about in a minute. But talk about the advice you took from your dad and how you applied that to the classroom and maybe one of your favorite classes or teacher.
I would say, my dad telling me, just be myself. I feel like it really helped me because I'm a really outgoing person and I feel like that I could be that way. Everyone accepted me. And I would say probably English with Mr. Hallman would be my favorite class. He's one of the best teachers in the school, I think. And I would say, he understands the student the best. He'll give time to you when you need it, but he's also strict when he needs to be. So I would say Mr. Hallman.
Took the advice from your dad on the academic side. Then on the athletic side, your dad was a baseball and football player. You're a golfer, have had great success, 2 championships with the team, also some individual accolades as a all-conference player and also the player of the year last year as a junior. Where's the golf skills come from?
I would say him, to be honest.
All right.
I feel like I was pretty blessed athletically with this guy. And also, I want to give a little shout out to Coach Drew Forrester. I feel like he really helped me as well. Freshman year, I didn't really play a lot, but, he told me it didn't really matter. And then all 3 years after that, I played pretty well. So I'd give it to him.
Very good. And talk a little bit more about Coach Forrester. I've been around the golf team a little bit. I know what he brings, but there's a brotherhood, there's a culture, there's a camaraderie. How do you think the team goes, and what do you think about that?
I would say he brings the intensity, definitely. Some people might not like that, but I think if you want to win championships, that's the way to be. And obviously, it's worked. So.
Now you're heading off to Salisbury next year. I know you're going to join fellow Calvert Hall golfer Ryan Henneman down there. So give him a little shout out. But talk about what you're looking forward to at Salisbury.
I would say just being with my old teammates. I also know a lot of people there. And one of the big reasons I'm going there is because of Henny. So.
Very good. So shout out to Ryan Henneman and Brooks will be down at Salisbury next year. Now we're off to the putting contest between father and son. We'll see who comes out on top. All right, so the competition is wrapped up. It was a 3-hole challenge, some tough pin placements. But Brooks, you came out on top by 1 stroke over your dad. I guess you'll have bragging rights for a little while.
Yeah, it's kind of a normal thing at this point. So
Wow, Scott.
In his dreams.
In his dreams, in his dreams. Well, there you have it. Competition went to the student this time. Now on to the next competition. Here we are at Alumni Memorial Gymnasium on Coach Tooch Court with Vince Williams, class of 95, and his son Anthony, a junior in the class of 27. First, I'll start with you, Vince. You were a basketball player here, played for Coach Tooch. We're on Coach Tooch Court. Tell me a little bit about the commitment of playing for Tooch and the influence he had on you.
Oh, wow. Coach Tooch is like none other. I learned so much from Coach Tooch. He was the father figure in my life to show me leadership, responsibility, and what the definition of commitment is day in and day out. You don't know what commitment is unless you played for Coach Tooch. He brings it every day, no days off.
If we look over our shoulders, we see the banners behind us, the championship banner. You guys won a championship in 95. Talk a little bit about that experience.
Oh, that was phenomenal. Really, really great team. Team all came together at the right time. So many great players who collectively were the best, is represented by the banner. I think individually, when you look at the individuals that made up the team, by ourselves, we probably weren't that great, but collectively together, knowing what team means and what team is how we came together and won championship.
Then you talk about that commitment and that ability to be a student athlete here at Calvert Hall. When Anthony became a Cardinal, what words of advice did you give him to be successful as a student athlete?
Give it everything that you have each day. Aim for the stars. The only way you can land is in the clouds. So,
So I think he's taking that advice pretty well. Well-rounded student athlete here at Calvert Hall. First, we'll talk about a member of the Mullen Scholars Program.
Yes, sir.
Talk about the commitment as a student athlete academically in that program.
Yeah, I mean, definitely right now the commitment is picking up for McMullen. Next year we have our capstone project, so that's a big project, at least a 20-page research paper. So just figuring out what I want to do for that, any sources that I want to collect for that, and that just kind of sets the standard for me at school. I'm at the top. And everything that I do, my studies, academics, like putting in that work day in, night out, and it just shows how well-rounded I am.
In addition to that well-roundedness, you were just elected senior class president. What's the goal for next year as the president?
Yeah, goal for next year is just make everybody in my class feel seen and heard. Just bring that energy that we have. I think we have a really special class in the 27s, and just utilizing everybody's gifts and talents to the best of their ability, because everybody has something they bring to the table.
Now, you bring a little bit to the table on the baseball field. Committed to Duke. You're a junior, still have the rest of this season, one more season to play. But talk about the commitment to Duke.
Yeah, no. So we went back to Duke in the fall. It was a great visit. They had saw me play in the fall and the summer, and they gave me an offer. And when we were there, it was just the best place for me. Just a testament to the hard work and commitment that I put into my craft from the beginning. And that hard work has just opened up so many opportunities for me and allowed me to land this great opportunity at Duke.
Awesome. So you see that 2 guys here were great student athletes at the Hall, and now we're going to have a competition. They're going to play a game of horse, except we're going to play the game Hall, Hall. So we'll be back to see who the winner was. took a little while for them to get warmed up, but in the end, we got a point for the alumni. Vince, what was the strategy?
You know, the mid-range game is a lost art nowadays. You know, all these young people just want to shoot threes, so, you know, I had to take it back to the old school.
That sounds right there. You were trying to shoot the threes?
Yeah, I was trying to shoot the threes, yeah.
Yeah, so it backfired on you a little bit. He hit a couple, and then he got you in the mid-range.
He did.
So there you go. Vince Williams with the victory, and now into the next event. Here we are at Huck Pool, home of Calvert Hall Aquatics, and I'm joined by Rick Mellendick, class of 92, and his son Dylan, a senior here at Calvert Hall in the class of 26. Rick, I'll start with you. Before we talk about the swimming competition and the swim program, tell me a little bit about your involvement with the Cybersecurity Club here at Calvert Hall.
Yeah, so about 15 years ago, we started the cyber program here. We were trying to get students involved in cybersecurity as it was such a growing field at the time. Now it's just exploded. We've got students that have now graduated that have gone on to much bigger and broader things, working with UMBC and their cyber dogs to do a lot of our Capture the Flags every October. And Jack Bismagi's taken over the program, and he is just running with it, and it's absolutely wonderful. So we've gotten a lot of opportunities for students going forward.
Now we'll move on to the athletic side of stuff. When you were a student here, you played baseball for the legendary Joe Binder, and then you continued your career at LaSalle. Talk to me about that.
Playing for Coach was just amazing. In fact, I saw him just the other day, and it's still the same old, "Hey, Coach, how's it going?" And we chatted for a while. The program here was just so rigorous and so strong. Walked on to LaSalle, ended up with a scholarship. Unfortunately, junior year, hurt myself, but it gave me an opportunity to get a double major and have a Division I experience and do everything that I was able to do.
At another Christian Brothers school, so you continue that career. We talked a little bit, too, about your academic career here. Tell me about one of the more influential teachers you had.
Yeah, so Mr. Matze absolutely was just a rock star when I was here. He taught me so many things that I didn't even realize were going to be important until I got away to college. It was hard, it was difficult, but once I got to school, to LaSalle, it gave me an opportunity to just see how easy it was to learn because of the way he taught us. It was an amazing experience.
We talked also that, Dylan, you have Mr. Matze.
Yes, I do.
So tell me about having class with Mr. Matze.
So I have Mr. Matze for a forensics class. It's been an amazing class, so much that I might think about taking a class in college in forensics. He's a great teacher. I really enjoy his classes, and I've learned a lot from him this year.
Okay, now we'll move on to the swimming side of stuff for you and the water polo side. So I look over my shoulder here on the school record board. I noticed that your name is up there for a record from 2026 with a couple teammates in the 200 medley relay. Talk about the commitment it takes to get on the school record board.
So we have practice every day starting after school, and the whole team's here. We really push each other. We're a very close-knit community here, and we're always striving for each other to do better in the pool and out of the pool, and that's how we got that record done.
Okay, so you've had a very distinguished career here, not only in swimming, but also water polo. Obviously, you have the gold jacket. You've committed to college. Tell me a little bit about the commitment and where you're headed.
So I'm headed to Mount St. Mary's next year. I am committed for swimming, and I'm going to study secondary education and social studies.
So that education that you're going to get at Mount St. Mary's, you have a long-term goal, and what's that goal?
So my goal that I found out sophomore year was I wanted to come back to Calvert Hall and coach and teach water polo and swim, and then teach a class. I don't know which class yet, but yeah, I'm very excited.
That's awesome. We'd love to have Dylan back here in a few years after he graduates from Mount St. Mary's. So I want to thank Rick and Dylan for joining us. Now it's time to get in the pool. That wraps up our first Legacy Lineup Challenge here at Calvert Hall. I want to thank Scott Manning and Manpack for their sponsorship. Now it's time to present the trophy to our winners. The students won 3-2 in this year's challenge. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
Remember to make your gift for Calvert Hall's All Day Hall Day at calverthall.com/giving day. Thank you for supporting Calvert Hall.